Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 534 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm host, as always. I'm Tyler. And join me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, I'm doing fairly well. Doing fairly well. I got football stuff tomorrow, so that's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
fun. But most importantly and stuff, got a lot of my work done. But I've also been playing plenty of video games.
Very nice.
Although retro stuff, nothing like concrete new. I'm not gonna be getting my copy of Fire Emblem Engage that I bought yesterday on through Amazon until tomorrow. Saw the update, so I'm getting it tomorrow. So without further ado, man, I mean, I am just so freaking excited about the year in front of us because of not just the potential game releases, but everything else going on.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, man, I'm just doing pretty good. How about yourself, Tyler?
I'm doing okay, I was telling you before the show, it's kind of a, rougher mental health week, I think I was telling you. Winter, I think, starting to get to me finally. It's been pretty nice here since we had like that really shitty week, the week of Christmas, where it was like negative 50,
Yes.
then we had a snowstorm and it was just miserable. Then it's been like 30s and 40s for like the last like month or so. And then this week it's been dreary out, cold, ice, snow. Work's been busy because of that. So yeah, and then just all the shit going on like in the world of gaming with all just a bunch of seeing all the layoffs and then sadly people losing their jobs, and then obviously most importantly, really Jay Briscoe, the uh, passing away, a professional wrestler, been around for over 20 years. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so that was very sad to see. Only 38 years old. Um, I mean, some trying to find the silver lining here. Both of his daughters, they're teenagers. He died in a car accident. Um, One of them, they were worried that was she couldn't feel, she had no feelings below her waist, and she had surgery, and she has feelings, and it sounds like she's got a long road to recovery, but we're on positive track to hopefully be able to walk again and be able to live a normal life. So there's some great news there.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just kind of a tough week to to enjoy the things I love doing in my free time. It's like wrestling and
Hmm.
uh, video games are like two of my favorite things. And watching the AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night. After Jay passed away Tuesday, um, just wasn't. I mean, it was a great show. It was just kind of not really something you're like. I was like pumped to. It was hard to enjoy just knowing that was going on. And then just like um, hard to enjoy gaming. Just kind of bummed out about a lot of people. Unfortunately, like all the stuff going on in the gaming world, people losing their jobs, like Giant Bomb, GameSpot, Xbox, Microsoft, and all that. So, SB Nation, Google, like just ton of layoffs in the tech world. So, pretty disappointing. But I'm doing a little better now. It's Saturday. Uh, Watching football. We had a good football game with the Chiefs and Jaguars, and the second game unfortunately was not very good. Um, you know, uh,
Oh, yeah.
Eagles pretty much blowing out the Giants, but yeah, other than that, I'm doing okay. But yeah. Oh, I did get some little retail therapy here, Gables. I did buy something though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what you get? Oh, you got the
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth
Yeah,
amiibo.
yeah. I got my
Yeah, there you go.
got him. I'm trying to be like vigilant about not buying amiibos anymore. Try to be good about like not buying like just to buy them, because I was being really bad about just like here's this fucking new amiibos coming out. I'm gonna buy them. Like I think I got a couple of Fire Emblem ones over there somewhere. It's like what I mean, like I'm like no disrespect to Fire Emblem. Like why the I don't fucking care about Fire Emblem. Um. So yeah. Trying to get better about only buying ones I'm actually like excited for, like characters I like. So I was hoping they'd do like a rerun of Cloud, but it doesn't look like they're doing it because I think it's going for like $50 online. I'm eventually gonna buy it, but I'm gonna hold out as long as I can. But yeah, that is not why we're here though. We are here to talk about video games that we do every week. Gales and I, we are live on YouTube right now, so please, if you're watching and listening to us, whether it's live or later on, please go there and check us out, review, all that fun stuff. 5 stars, subscribe. There are links in the descriptions down below. Wherever you listen to us at has all of our socials, all of the places that we are at. So like I said, please go to those places, check us out. We really would appreciate it. Um, but Gables, why don't we jump into some of the news? It's been a pretty crazy news week here. Um,
Absolutely.
jumped into let's jump into 343 and just kind of like kind of like I touched on here at the beginning with all the layoffs and everything. So Microsoft laid off about 10,000 employees. Um, Around a third of some of the bigger changes here. It sounds like in the gaming, looking at the gaming part of it. Um, about a third of 343, who has been developing Halo since basically Bungie left, going back to Halo 4. Uh, they were laid off. Mostly the campaign staff was is let go. Also layoffs at like Coalition,
Mm.
Bethesda Game Studios was laid. A bunch of employees were laid off. That's crazy because like Coalition is like not only do they make the Gears games, but they are like the kings of like the Unreal Engine, which is like what most gaming companies use as their engine to make video
Right.
games. A bunch of them got laid off, unfortunately. And then like Bethesda Game Studios, who is trying to finish Starfield, had a bunch of layoffs as well. No idea how affected they were, but I don't know. Like those are the main studios I heard about. But like I said, it sounds like 343 got hit the hardest. Joseph Staten, who came back to the company, he was like one of like the key people back during the original trilogy, back with Bungie. He left. He was with Xbox Publishing. He went back a few years ago to kind of wrangle in Halo Infinite after multiple delays, and we've been hearing rumors forever about it's just been chaos over there up top about just what's going on. And he came back, kind of just got it enough shape to be able to release it. And now he's going back to Xbox Publishing, so back to his old job. Um, some of the
Okay.
stuff that sounds like what's going on, a lot of stuff is kind of not being confirmed, but it's been a lot of rumors. But I feel like a lot of the rumors that we've been hearing about Halo and Halo Infinite and 343 have been pretty much come correct eventually. So there's a lot of the same people
Mm.
that have been leaking this stuff said that the story-based DLC has been scrapped due to it not being considered cost-effective. But Halo Endless, which is like the thing that they patented a couple years ago, like 3 years ago, I want to say, and they like hinted at like that was like they ended on like a cliffhanger with Halo Infinite,
Mm. Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the Endless coming, and I guess it never really fully started development because they were so focused on getting the online, the multiplayer back on track. Um, so it never really got running. Even though there was some talks that it was going to come out at the end of this year, early next year, early 2024. Um, so yeah, 343 Industries. So it sounds like there's been some rumors as well that 343 Industries will be taking more like what they're stating a paternal role for Halo, more so
Mm.
in like they are the overseers of it. Like they're not necessarily making the games, but they're going to be like in charge of like who makes the games. Kind of like we see with like Disney with
Right.
like they've kind of rebooted like the Disney game studios where they're not making the games. Like they don't have,
They're
but they're
outsourcing.
outsourcing it. Like we see like Spider-Man.
Okay. Okay.
There's the
Kind of like what Marvel's
yeah,
doing.
like,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Like we're seeing like so, like Spider-Man, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, shit like that. Like or kind of like EA or Disney also did with Star Wars. And that was, I guess I didn't realize this, but apparently that was 343 originally when they made 343 was their original role, and then it just became an internal studio instead. Um, yeah, so that's kind of the main idea is like they're going to be in charge of overseeing and like maybe helping like with development, but like there'll be other studios mainly doing the work. Um, but it sounds like 343 is basically just going to be working on the multiplayer and just keeping that going. But we've also heard like other companies have been like really helping out with that. And like I think it's Certain Affinity they've like basically bought. They don't own it, but they pretty much like are solely working on the multiplayer for Halo Infinite and are rumored to be making a battle royale game for Halo. Um, and it
Okay.
sounds like a follow up to Halo Infinite is expected to be entering pre production alongside spin off titles, and these games reportedly being franchised out to other studios and being developed on a more modest budget. So
Okay.
a lot of
Okay. So not like lasting 4 or 5 years, kind of like with
yeah. So
Infinite.
like Infinite was supposed to be like a 10-year project, or like that was like the next kind of like Destiny. That was always the big ordeal. It was like Destiny
Right.
was going to be a 10-year thing, and then like 3 years later we got Destiny 2, and then now it's once Bungie broke free of Activision, now it's a 10-year thing. Um, But Patrick Wren, who was like a executive for 343 years ago, and then he left. Now he's a executive at 34 or at Respawn rather, working on Star Wars Jedi. The fuck's that game called? Fallen? No, Jedi
It's not
Survivor. Yeah,
Survivor,
that's
Jedi
it's such a
Survivor.
terrible name. I refuse to remember it. But he posted here on January 18th, the day of all the announcements of the layoffs. The layoffs at 343 shouldn't have happened, and Halo Infinite should be in a better state. The reason for both of those things is incompetent leadership up top during Halo Infinite development, causing massive stress on those working hard to make Halo the best it can be. He then followed that up with the people I worked every day with were passionate about Halo and wanted to make something great for the fans. They helped push for a better Halo and got laid off for it. Devs still there are working hard on that dream. Look at Forge. Be kind to them during this awful time. Um, so obviously some defense there. And this is not a guy that got laid off. This is a guy that left the company. So people, it's like first people saying about sour grapes for something for get laid off, but this is a guy he left years ago. Then somebody else that I don't know if they currently or have left responded to that, saying don't forget the heavy reliance on contractors, vendors that messed up system that I know that's more Microsoft would have loved to stay on the team if I could and work my way up. Still one of my favorite jobs I have been at. Okay, so that um, he was a temp, so our contractor rather. Um, yeah, so Patrick Green responded to that saying, "Oh man, the contract stuff is a whole other can of worms that pisses me off. So many amazing people and talent that just disappeared." So kind of what that's referring to is, I guess something coming out of this is that Microsoft, and this isn't using a lot of outside people, contractors, temps to like help on your projects and like get you to that finish
Hmm.
line. Um, they Microsoft has a policy where temps and contractors are only allowed to work on a project and work for Microsoft for so long, and then they get let go because of like tax purposes, I guess. Um, so that's and then basically you have to they work there. I can't remember. I think it was like it's either 12 or 18 months, but then they're gone, and then you got to bring new people
Yeah.
in, and then you got to retrain them and get them going again. So like yeah, I can see that like you just got a constant rotation of new people coming in that you always have to train and everything like that. So a lot going on at 343. They did tweet out today. No tweets about the people getting let go and all that, but they did tweet about that they're still like working on Halo. That they're the people working on Halo, but no like confirmation about like the single player or the future of like the next Halo or any of that. Just said they're still the ones working on Halo. So Gables like I don't know. I mean there's a lot here. But kind of what was your
Yeah.
feelings coming out reading all this? I mean, this is not going to confirm. Like I said, these are all just rumors, but there's been a lot of these rumors that come out about Halo have ended up coming true. So how you feeling about this?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to try to venture forth and go on to the next Halo game as soon as possible. I mean, heck, with how much of a tumultuous development cycle that Infinite was, it makes a lot of sense to cut your losses, go forth and just focus upon maintaining the stability of its multiplayer because that's pretty much the thing that needs the most work upon because everything else apparently is done. They went through and they got all the campaign people or most of the campaign people just laid them off entirely.
Yeah,
So we're not seeing any type of major expansions for that game. We're not seeing any type of major story elements. We've probably going to be seeing more of like just maintain stability. This whole battle royale stuff, I would not doubt that this is going to be something that's going to come down the pipeline.
yeah.
We may first, me possibly may hear something soon about it. Possibly, maybe as close as who knows.
E3 maybe.
I E3 is what I would speculate is when we'll possibly hear more about it. But yeah, I'm sad that a lot of people did lose their jobs from Microsoft in this regards, and plus the other studios involved with it. 343 Studios,
Coalition.
Bethesda, Coalition, and stuff. Bunch of talented people. I mean, I hope they find jobs quickly and just something that can go forth and make this process much more smooth than obviously that it's not right at this moment. But as far as the other Halo stuff is concerned, I mean, I could speculate all I can and stuff at this portion, but all what I would say, just ending this, is like I would not be surprised not only seeing a new Halo game, but also hearing more about like spin-offs potentially, like year intervals. But yeah, that's kind of like my thoughts about it.
Yeah. Um, it's definitely bittersweet. Where like it's definitely a thing where like yeah, Halo Infinite they swung and they miss, and
Mm.
I mean they like the gameplay, all that they nailed it. Like
Yes,
it's
they
really
did.
good. I mean we both love that campaign. That multiplayer is excellent too. It just I mean I complained a lot about like the leveling system, like the battle pass. Like the battle pass was fine, but like the leveling for the battle was just awful. And then like you
Yeah.
couldn't make like you couldn't just like pick a game mode and play those. Eventually they fixed a lot of these, but like it was all random maps, it was all random game modes. Like you couldn't decide anything. Um, just
With that, even the community did a lot of better job in terms of like creating maps and stuff for the game than the actual
yeah, with
full-on
Forge.
people that were developing the
Yeah,
game, because it's like you have you have fans of Halo Infinite here, they going on to the creation map stuff and creating things like Mario Kart 8 tracks
yeah,
and like friggin' like Andy's room from Toy Story, all this other crap and stuff. And what is 343 Studios with? Oh, yeah, we've been hearing your cries and stuff right here. Here's the pit.
yeah, yeah. It just sounds like yeah. Even though that game got delayed a year, I mean it was obvious that game was just not ready to come out, and like the
Agreed.
gameplay was there, just content, and they didn't
Yeah.
have a roadmap, or they had one, but it wasn't like feasible to come out in a timely fashion. Where I think season one of Halo Infinite Online was like 6 months, and then like season two was supposed to be like 3 months, and it got delayed. And then like we were supposed to get co-op and like couch co-op and Forge
Yeah.
in like May of last year, and it got delayed to like the end of like I think like second half of this year or second half of last year. I'm still confused about we're in 2023 now. Um, yeah, and it's just it sucks, where it sounds like I mean, like Bonnie Ross, who was the president of 343, who left earlier in 2022, like I think like August September, and there's just a lot of rumors about like she's like resigned, but we a lot of times like when someone resigns, it's usually not all the time, obviously, but a lot of times there's a little bit more to it than they just resigned. And there's been a lot of rumors out there that she was basically like told to leave, and that was like you can go out saying you resign instead of we fire you. And we've seen that in the last few years where we're talking about like Joseph Staten had to come back in 2020 to kind of like
Mm-hmm.
get the shit get the ship back on track here, and we just seen constant people leaving, new people coming in, and yeah, like all
Yep.
those, everything makes sense. And we talked about this at the time. We've been talking about it. It's been, I don't think like hearing about like the up top shit. Like I don't think anybody was really shocked by that because it's like just reading the news, just reading the headlines here. It's like over the last keep paying attention. If you pay attention to this, Halo Infinite the last few years, like it's pretty obvious what's going on there. Um, so yeah, it's like I feel terrible for the staff and like especially the ones left over. It's like I've talked about last week, like Ubisoft, and like when they were talking about like the onus is on you to get shit back on track. And it's like I've been at companies where multiple companies where you're getting shut down, like the writing's on the wall, and like people are getting laid off left and right, and it's just like 6 months ago there's 200 of you, now there's 40 of you, and like what's going on here? It's like you feel lucky to have a job, but you feel guilty for also still having a job. And then it's like it just makes it harder to like pay attention and just keep doing what you're doing. So I've been there.
Yep.
So I hope those people obviously ones that are left, they are able to keep going and things get better. And for the people that lost their jobs, hopefully able to find something soon. Hopefully get a decent severance package on the way out. And I mean, I guess you hear about there's so many um, video game companies out there that are studios hiring, just desperate for talent. So hopefully that is in fact true still, and helps them. They can get jobs quickly. But yeah, it just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought there's a very solid, like this isn't a badly made game. Like the game is fun to
No.
play. The game is really well made. You can definitely tell like as great as that campaign was, it was not finished. There was a lot of
No.
I mean, it was like there wasn't buggy. It wasn't anything like that. But you could just tell that like there wasn't a lot. There was stuff just not filled in. You couldn't replay missions, um, stuff like that. So it just sounded that game came in extremely hot, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the same time though, it's like was this is 343's third crack at Halo, and
Yes, it is.
I replayed 4 last year. I beat 5 for the first time this last year as well. 4 was actually a very good game. I thought 5 was trash, but Halo Infinite, like we talked about, like that was both in our top 10 games of the year. It's one of my
Yep.
favorite first-person shooter campaigns of all time, actually. Um, so yeah, I'm just hopeful, like whether maybe they get a second shot at this, or um, I don't know, because like it's stunning to me, like this is your baby, Microsoft, and it's like we keep thinking that like Microsoft has like got their shit together finally, and things are coming together, and it's like this is your biggest like bet. This is your not biggest bet, but this is like your most important franchise that you have, and it's like you've bungled it. I'm not blaming 343
Mm.
the employees. I'm blaming Microsoft. I'm blaming Xbox. I'm blaming Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, Aaron Greenberg. I'm blaming Bonnie Ross, all those top executives. Like you've had you've had multiple shots, and then like this was like the one, and it's like you had it, you fucking had it, and you failed. It's like I get it, delaying games multiple times sucks, and it's always a little fishy when a game gets delayed multiple times. But I mean, the Miyamoto quote, I'm not gonna say because everybody knows it, but um, I mean, yeah, I mean, if that game came out, mid 2022, late, September 2022, I mean, maybe right now we're still raving about Halo Infinite instead of talking about the demise of Halo Infinite. So
Yeah,
it's
really.
shitty. Um, but let's move on. It's not getting any better, people. Uh, um, Marvel's Avengers is dead. So it's gonna be this week is a lot of games of service stuff going on. So it's funny. Gables actually put this one in here, beat me to it. Uh, but so they Crystal Dynamics, it kind of got leaked earlier in the day on Friday, but Crystal Dynamics officially came out and said that support for Marvel's Avengers will be ending on September 30th, which would mark about 3 years because it came out in September 2020. 3 years of that after which digital purchases will no longer be available. All solo content will continue to be playable after support ends, and multiplayer will also remain available. They also, like I said, you can't buy like digital stuff. You can't buy stuff for game passes, microtransactions, but also the game will be pulled from digital sales, so you won't be able to even buy it digitally anymore, which is pretty nuts. They also said that Crystal Dynamics does not plan to release any new stories, features, or heroes, and the team will be moving over to Tomb Raider, that is being published by Amazon Games, which I totally forgot that was a thing. That just blew my mind. Uh, but they did have a final update a couple months ago. That finally added like the cloning labs and the Winter Soldier. Um, but I can't remember when that was. I think okay. So the final update will be on March 31st. That's just like balance updates. I can't remember when the final update came out though. I'm trying to. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. But what's weird is like there's been all these leaks and stuff about like She-Hulk being a playable character, and even the rumored voice actor tweeted about her being the voice actor for She-Hulk in the game. So it's like, I mean, it sounds like you made it. It's like, I don't know, it's weird. But maybe it was just like a sunk cost fallacy kind of thing. Like, we've lost enough money. No, this isn't gonna fix it. Just a clone of Hulk. Um, but yeah, I mean, we see this game. It's hard to make a live service game. Uh, and
Yes.
this was like I talked about this at the time when Marvel's Avengers came out. Like I played the game, I beat the game, I beat the campaign. I thought that campaign was fan fucking tastic. I just hated like it just they had a really great story, a really great campaign there, and they was just they
Right.
forced the light. They're like they just kind of here's a square peg that we built, and it's amazing. All right, cool. Well, here's this round hole. That's games of service. We need to put that square peg in this round hole, and this is what we Marvel Avengers is what we got. Like if Marvel Avengers, like if they just didn't put that in there, like that, I think that would have been Marvel Avengers would have been like a game of the year contender in 2020
Yes, it would
instead
have
of
been.
the joke of 2020. Um, But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's sad. It's like you have in 2020 there was no IP hotter than Avengers. After coming off of Endgame and just MCU in general, um, you can't top. You couldn't. There was nothing bigger. And here we are. I mean, within a couple matter of months, that game was dead. And they had a second shot with the Wakanda expansion they did, and it kind of brought it back a little bit. But yeah, in the end, it just didn't matter. And I'm incredibly disappointed. I had a really good time playing through that campaign. They did like a 4 times multiplayer experience point multiplayer thing. I think it was like beginning of last year. And I had a good time with it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Gables, what's your thoughts on this?
Ah, well, in regards to the whole thing with Marvel's Avengers, as soon as I can get this little guy just going quit barking for a little moment right here. I know you got very good insight on Marvel's Avengers,
Yeah,
don't you?
he's like, I fucking hate that game.
Absolutely.
The-
Come.
Chico, I bet he's definitely like a Kate Bishop main.
Yeah, he definitely is a Kate Bishop
Yeah.
man. Well, when it came to like Marvel's Avengers, though, I mean, this really not too much of a surprise. Come here, you little shit. Okay, you don't want your sweater. When it comes to like Marvel's Avengers, I mean, I'm not too surprised in regards to the whole. But I mean, even from the get go of the launch and stuff, the live service stuff questionable. Some of the microtransaction stuff was definitely questionable, considering the cosmetics and this and that. But yeah, when it comes to the game of itself, I've heard things from you in regards to the campaign. But the thing that turned you off and turned a lot of gamers off the most was the live service stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as you got done with the campaign, or as soon as you got to a specific part, things just started to go downhill because it was shoehorned into the game's experience from stand. And as a result, it turned off a lot of people to the extent where even like congruent players for the game, even on like say on Steam, like dipped within like a couple hundred or something like that for even as close as like even as for as recent as this year, because at first you had like maybe a couple thousand people, maybe like over not sure like in total, but at least a few thousand people playing the game when it first launched on
Yeah.
Steam, and then through the subsequent glitches and the gameplay stuff through like the live service stuff as well, and on top of things that went downhill, obviously, to the extent of where we're at right now. But it's another product of what could have been, really, because of a lot of mismanagement stuff through Square Enix and IDOS Montreal at the time and stuff. But it's the pattern is for this week and stuff is like looking from the outside looking in upon live service games in general, in my honest opinion. You had Halo Infinite that was supposed to be like a game that's supposed to last for like 10 years and stuff through like a live service sort of structure. Then here is Marvel's Avengers, like near the same type of things and stuff. And we're seeing the results of things not planned out correctly through the higher echelon, the management material, all the way down to their core people. I mean, the last remaining people that were working on that game were just basically going through the stability stuff and try to get some bit of like the patches, like trying to work out balances and stuff for the last major update of this game. And yeah, it sucks that come a few months from now, people are not even going to be able to buy this game unless they get a physical copy.
Yeah. I mean, I probably like it's cheap enough. I think like I've seen it for like under $10. I'm probably gonna go and just buy a copy just to have it. Because I legitimately like really like that game, and there's a lot of fun to
Right,
be had.
right.
And I kind of want to play the Wakanda expansion. I just never got around to it, so um, pick it up.
I didn't realize the Wakanda expansion was even out.
Yeah, it came out June of last year, so
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But like the cloning lab thing that just came out in the last expansion a few months ago. I've told the
Hmm.
story before, but I remember like when I would edit the podcast, um, I would just pop up Twitch and just like have something off at the side while I'm editing and or putting the podcast together or whatever. And I remember I was watching Fran Marabella, formerly of IGN, Twitch stream, and this is when the game first came out, and he accidentally
Yeah.
got into the cloning labs, and this is like the week the game came out. He got into it. That was
Okay.
over 2 years ago. And the
Wow.
cloning lab, like, so he was playing the cloning lab over 2 years ago, the week the game came out. It just now came out, like, end of last year. So
And now the game is near dead.
now the game, yeah, and it's dead. I mean, like the Spider-Man, they did the Spider-Man character added, and it was just like meh. Um, so I mean, if that was
Funny
like,
enough, that's gonna remain exclusive to fucking Sony
yeah,
platforms.
yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know how you. It's just crazy. I mean, and we all the stuff we heard about that one, Square Enix kind of forced them to make this a live service game, and I mean, I remember the reports coming out after the at the end of fiscal year 2020 there, and like, they talked about like they're like we're $70 million in the hole on because of Marvel's Avengers. Um, so yeah, I mean, even though that game was one of the best selling games of the year, it was one of the best selling like the number one in the month that came out in September. It was like I said, it was
Hmm.
one of I think one of the 10 best selling games of 2020, and you're still not profitable. I don't know. It's crazy to me. But give me one
Hmm.
second here, Gables. I got OBS is acting a little weird, so give me a second.
Oh no.
Your picture's coming in weird, so I'm gonna have to. So they're not gonna be able to hear you for a second while I fix this. Um, sorry, audio listeners. Um, there we go. We're getting here. Sorry, I gotta fix the
Hmm.
picture. All right, we're getting somewhere here. Alrighty. All right, and we are good, Gables. They
All
should be able
right.
to hear you. Yep, you're good. All right. Well, Gables, let's move on. Let's try to um, talk about some fun news. Well, shit. Let's talk about Suicide Squad. Um, it's not getting any better for anybody. Um,
Oh man.
what a shit week for video games, man.
I cannot
Um,
remember a single week that we've recorded and stuff like the news has been literally like closure after game ending, after
yeah,
closure, after
and,
firing, after this.
yeah, and it's just like um, it's just live service games. It's like, man, maybe you should take a lesson here. But I do want to show something.
Yeah.
So there a screenshot leaked for Suicide Squad, and their DMCA taking down the game or the screenshot, and people are getting hit on YouTube and even Twitter and like news articles, shit like that. So
Interesting.
somebody, Kyle Bossman, formerly of Easy Allies and Game Trailers, was nice enough to put together a little drawing for everybody. So Gables, you should be able to see that. uh,
Oh, I'll give him credit for this. That's pretty creative.
yeah. So if you're a audio listener, I have a picture here of he actually did a picture of the screenshot, and so if you're on YouTube, you should be able to see this right now as well. But here's the picture of the screenshot that was posted. So it's so funny to me. So a screenshot came out of Suicide Squad of like it's like closed alpha that's going on right now of basically like you get a battle pass.
Yeah.
Um, you can see the chapter like you go like chapter select. There's like game modes. There's 4-player co-op here. Obviously, everybody's got different levels. Like I said, there's a game pass top of that, and you could see like in the like up at the top of the screen here. There's squad, looks, loadout, talents, social, battle pass, store, codex, options, and then what looks to be 6 different currencies for the game.
Jesus criminy. God,
So
these
yeah,
game companies don't learn their lessons, do they?
yeah. I mean, like I said, we are. This is our third news story and our third time talking about a live service game.
Yeah. That
So
also has
it was
questionable things with it.
yeah. So if Gables, if I'm looking at this correctly here, this is Captain Boomerang as the character up front. The character is
Yep.
playing as Captain Boomerang, who is known for having a boomerang that he kills enemies with. What is he holding in his hand?
A gun.
Yeah, Gables King Shark, who is
Yep.
a gigantic shark that has impenetrable skin, super strength, and teeth that can just kill us easily. What is he holding in his hands?
A machine gun.
Yes. So um, baffling. What is happening here? Uh, it, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and a listener wrote in a question that honestly kind of blew my mind. I can't remember what podcast I listened to, but they asked the question: how many full-priced games have come out that were games of service and were actually successful?
That is a excellent question.
Destiny 2,
You can make the argument that
which
Destiny 2
I
could
mean, I would
have
say
been
Destiny
that.
2 for sure is, but then they went free to play.
Yes, they
Um,
did. They had to go free to play.
yeah, not counting MMOs.
Of
Rainbow
course not.
Six Siege,
Even though that did have its growing pains as well. I mean, they had to relaunch the game and redo a whole
yeah,
bunch of different things to adjust it.
yeah, but I mean,
They're
it
finding
counts.
some success now.
Yeah. I mean, I'd count it. It's been successful for several years, but I got nothing after that. And I'm sure
I
there's probably a
yeah,
couple. And people always talk about, look, when games come out, oh yeah, but we always look at like we point at games like No Man's Sky, and like Rainbow Six Siege and Destiny. It's like, well, those games turn around, but the problem is we always look at like the two or three cases of when it works, but we totally forget about the 500 other, maybe not 500, but at least I would say 60, 70 other times uh, that games like this come out and they just fail. Um,
exactly. I
and
mean,
we
it
we
doesn't matter whether or not it's like, say, Marvel's Avengers or certain portions of a Halo Infinite or even like certain portions of like freaking oh my god. Oh my god. What was Battlefront 2 or like freaking everything else.
Battlefield 2142,
2142. Yeah,
every
Battlefield.
Battlefield for the last like 10 years. Um,
The point remains is this live service stuff though has been around. There's been so many games you could literally name off that have not been successful because of this format. And yet the ones that we would credit that were close to being successful or are now doing well is from them either separating themselves from the publishers that they were initially with, Bungie with Activision. I mean, separating themselves from Activision was the biggest improvement because they were able to not only go free to play in some aspects, but they were able to build subsequently new
yeah.
content that now, you know, new
Instead of
content
just
that
making Destiny 3, 4, and 5, they were able to just
exactly
keep growing through too. Yeah.
they kept growing too and stuff, and they've had some good expansions. They've also had some great expansions as well. I mean, then you also have like we just said, like Rainbow Six Siege and stuff, but like I was stated previously, it's like that had to fail in order for them to go back in, redo a whole bunch of different stuff, and then just basically relaunch it. And now it's probably the best that it's been for a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
But that listener brought up an excellent question, and I cannot think of some live service game day one that literally was successful just from day one all the way up for like a couple years after.
Yeah. I mean, and even like you think about even free to play, like Halo Infinite multiplayer is free to play,
Mhm.
and it failed. Um, yeah. I mean, Roller Champions, just look at Ubisoft. There's that fucking free to play shooter game they put out that failed.
Yep.
I always forget the name of. Um, that was gone as quickly as it came out.
Battle
Um,
Arena or something.
I don't remember. It was stupid. Anthem. Jesus
Anthem.
Christ,
Yeah, there
Anthem.
we go.
Um, like, yeah,
We can
it's
still find copies for like next to $5.
it's like the dollar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. It sucks. I get why everybody wants it because if you can get a great games of service game, not only I mean, if you can get a great game of service game, but also charge a full price on top of it, like I get why people want it, what companies want it. Like it's the golden goose that everybody's been wanting, and we talked about last week with Ubisoft, and now reports coming out that Ubisoft at one point had over a dozen games of service games in the works, um, and subsequently they have like canceled a bunch of those, but I, yeah, it's kind of like in the 2000s there where we had that stretch where like um, where everybody thought single player games were dead and they had to shoehorn like
Multiplayer
multiplayer
games.
into it. Yeah, and it's
Yes.
like I think about even Doom 2016. They shoehorned fucking multiplayer into that thing. So it's like it wasn't just 2 generations ago. This was last generation, even the beginning of. And then like I'm sorry, when EA has learned their lessons on this shit, where it's like, oh wait, people will buy single player games, and now they're pivoting, and now they're putting out Dead Space next week. They're putting out another Star Wars game that's single player. Like they're like expanding their portfolio. Um, it's like, man, when you're behind the times of EA, and like EA's figured this shit out, and they're doing better right now, and they're not killing it. Obviously, Battlefield 2142, major disappointment for them, but they have definitely found, like I said, expanding the portfolio and are balancing things out here. It's like, what are we doing? Like,
When is enough going to be enough for companies to realize this is not the way you're going to go in order to try to get whatever type of freaking money possible? I mean, for God's sakes, gamers are not that stupid. Granted, there are plenty that go forth and spend a lot in regards to specific type of games, and I understand companies want to go after whales in regards to their sales numbers and this and
yeah,
that. But when it comes to this, I mean, general gamers look at live service games as trash for the most part because
yeah,
they take away what we've had initially ever since gaming pretty much has been exception types, where it's like the cosmetic stuff, the this and that, the different difficulties, the different types of like selections of classes, and like even for like basic stuff that you should be knowing and should have in terms of like level choices and this and that, telling gamers that know better, that have been playing games for decades and stuff like that, to pay extra just to get certain incremental stuff that they've had before, in other games. I mean, of course, a lot of these games have failed. And of course, a lot of these games have gone through and not been so excellent or have been like shells of what they could have been. It's because of one tying factor, Tyler. And it's been something that we've already mentioned 2 times throughout this throughout this recording. And what is that? Terrible management strategies.
yeah, yeah. Where it's, I mean, Rocksteady has put out great games, and
Ah,
it's
yeah.
been 8 years since they put out a game, and it just sucks that like, obviously, look, if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this thing comes out and it's fucking awesome. I want it to be awesome. You kidding me?
Well,
Like
yeah.
I want a Gotham Knights to be awesome. I want to be wrong about that. I want to be wrong about Marvel's Avengers. Um, like I want these games to be great. I like, you kidding me? Like what we like the comedy of Suicide Squad has been hilarious, and but we've seen the very little gameplay we've seen has been like quick cuts. So they're obviously trying to prevent us from showing us shit, and it's like it's baffling when you think about like multiple when this shit happens and this stuff leaks out. Like the whole PR and the ad campaign running up to the game is them convincing us about like the battle pass. Like they try to like convince us that the game's a service part is not as bad as you think. And like, hey, there's all this too. And then the game comes out and it's just what we thought it was. And it's like
Exactly.
if you have to spend your entire PR campaign instead of like trying to like show us how great this game is by trying to tell us how it's not the thing we think it is, even though it is the thing that we think it is. Maybe there's something wrong there. And like you said, I'm not blaming the people making the game. Actually, the people working directly on the game. I'm talking about the people that like up top.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like when that's your like your go-to campaign of like, hey, all right, tell them about there's a full-fledged single player here. There are you could play this game single player. It's like, okay, the game's not designed that way, and it's like I don't know. It's like you hear about all the shit with Gotham Knights where like that game was supposed to be a single player game, um, and then it got turned into after Marvel's Avengers got announced. They tried to change it mid uh, development into a live service game, and then Marvel Avengers failed. And after multiple years of working on it as a live service game, they tried to take out the live service stuff out of it, and then we just got Gotham Knights,
Hmm.
which sucks. Um, so yeah, and it's just like on top of that, like these studios spent like essentially most of a decade to put out this, and like I know that this game is supposed to allegedly coming out in May, and like I said, I want to be wrong about this. I love that this game comes out and it's great and they support it forever. But we see this all the time and it never happens like that. Um, so yeah, just fucking sucks. Um,
Though I
Yeah,
must
I don't know.
admit, though, this drawing by this dude,
Kyle
I'm just
Bossman.
laughing. It's awesome. I'm just laughing at it because it's like he took the time. He actually did a pretty fun job with this stuff. I
It's a
mean, I'm not
great
gonna
job.
lie.
Like I look at the initial screenshot and it's like perfect. Um, so yeah, if you're an audio listener, please go to our YouTube. There's a you can see the time codes down in there. Click on it and check out this picture because it's fantastic. It's going to be the thumbnail for this podcast as well. It's gonna steal that, post it because that's how fucking good it is. Um, but Gables, let's start talking about live service games. Let's talk about one of my favorite things to talk about every month.
All right.
Let's talk about fucking. Let me if I can find it here. NPDs.
Oh, thank God.
Um, yeah, thank God. Yeah, let's get away from um, all that bullshit and let's talk about NPDs here. Give me a second, Gables. I will. I got 50 fucking things on my screen here. All right,
Oh,
boom. I'm gonna screen share NPDs with you, buddy.
all right.
There we go. You should be able to see that now. There we go.
Hey,
All right.
what the?
So yeah, there's ads. Sorry about that. Skip ad. All right. So let's talk about December first. So we got December, and we also have, um, do a share screen for the audio listeners. We have a December, and we also have overall sales for 2022.
Okay.
Um, so we'll start off. Speaking of Gotham Knights, number 20 here. Gotham Knights for this is like I said, is all for the month of December. Um, Number 19, we have Splatoon 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 18, we have Animal Crossing New Horizon. Number 17, Closer Protocol. There's a new game too. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Number 16, Nintendo Switch Sports. Number 15, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 14, Minecraft. Number 13, Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope. Number 12, Just Dance 2023, which is crazy. That game jumped from 27th to get back to 12th.
Wow.
Number 11, NBA 2K23. Number 10, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 7 Reunion. Number 9, Mario Kart 8. Number 8, Need for Speed Unbound. Number 7, Elden Ring. Number 6, Sonic Frontiers. Number 5, FIFA 23. Number 4, Modern War, Madden NFL 2020. Yeah, I can't talk. Madden 23 is number 4. I'm looking at Modern Warfare and I'm looking at Madden, and there's a lot of numbers here. Number 3, God of War Ragnarok. Number 2, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Number 1, Modern Warfare 2. Um,
Hmm.
so that is the top 20 list for the month of December. Gibbs, anything sticking out to you on that one?
To be perfectly honest with you, the things that are sticking out the most on here is like Sonic Frontiers still selling like strong in that regard since it released. Did it not release like in terms of November of
It
last year?
released the day after God of War, but it also had like
Oh, okay.
gigantic. It was like $30-$40 during the holidays. So
Well, exactly. That's like that's pretty much the thing that's popping out to me the most because other than that, though, I mean, it is kind of like not surprising because you see the usual type of suspects from last year, the biggest sales stuff, like for Elden Ring being on the list, for like every sports game being on the list and stuff. Ragnarok selling strong in December. I mean, that's when everybody else is wanting to play that game because of all the Game of the Year accolades for that, plus Elden Ring. But it's like, it's kind of like in line with what I thought.
yeah, I'm kind of with you. Yeah, like looking at the list here, it's like um, Gotham Knights shopping from 8th to 20th, even despite, you gotta remember, like, this is based off dollar sales, not units sold. But Gotham Knights had, like, I think it was also selling for like $40 during the holidays. Um, Splatoon 3 at 19, jumping back in from 24. Gotta remember that game is most of the sales are from Japan, rather from, Europe and the United States. So, and this is only based off United States. This is not worldwide. Callisto Protocol only being 17 sucks. Like, I played the game on PS5, so and I like that game more than most. But I understand like that game definitely had some issues coming out. The game it's fine. I'm not trying to be a hardcore defender of it, but it's better than reviews say. But I also someone pointed out that most people review the game on PC, and that game was a buggy mess on PC and Xbox. So
Yeah.
something interesting about that is I guess um, PlayStation had to give Crafton Games to when they 300 employees to help finish that game.
Hmm.
So that's why the PlayStation version's actually like really is like pretty much done and finished and works okay.
Wow.
And the other ones weren't because PlayStation had to give them hundreds of employees to actually finish the game to be out in time. Uh, so disappointing because that game definitely needed like probably needed like a few more months in the oven. But they're so dead set on getting out before Dead Space. That unfortunately kind of double doomed it. But also like Switch Sports, gross. Um, Looking at here, sparks of hope. We talked about last week. Ubisoft's pretty disappointed. Same with Just Dance 2023. Um, Crisis Core being number 10. Hey, good for them.
Yeah.
I did not like that game. But I'm sure there's people out there, that might still enjoy the game. Need for Speed Unbound, number 8. That's pretty crazy for a game that was literally announced end of October. Even though the game leaked like a year ago and we knew everything about it, it was officially announced at the end of October. And to finish 8th for the month is pretty good. Coming out just with not a lot of buzz behind it, but yeah, like I said, the top kind of what we thought. It's Call of Duty, it's Pokemon, it's God of War, Madden, FIFA. So yeah, good for them. But let's move on to it's down here somewhere. Gotta scroll through here. Full year of 2020
Okay.
best-selling games. Um, so let me scroll in here as well. I got two screens going here. So number 20 overall, Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number
Hmm.
18, number 19 rather, Nintendo Switch Sports. Gross. Number 18, Minecraft. Who the fuck hasn't bought fucking Minecraft at this point? It doesn't. I don't understand it. Uh, Number 17, Gotham Knights. Number
Okay.
16, Sonic Frontiers. Number 15, NBA 2K23. Number 14, look at this fucking Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Look at
There
our
you
boy.
go.
Look at our boy.
Hmm.
Number 13 here, we have Gran Turismo 7. Number 12, Call of Duty Vanguard. It's impressive to have two games in the top 12, but typically most years we have two Call of Duty games in like the top 5. So it kind of shows like Vanguard, one of the best selling games of the year. It was the best selling game in 2021. Pretty disappointing overall. Didn't have that big tail like they expect. Number 11, Mario Kart 8, as always. Number 10, MLB The Show 22. Um,
Huh.
Pretty crazy. That does not include Xbox or Nintendo digital sales either.
That's just Sony, isn't it?
That's just Sony, and this game is also on Game Pass. So,
Jesus Christ.
and
The
also
fact
like
that
if you
it's only Sony with that stuff and that
well,
sales
and it
like
is
that.
physical sales for Xbox and Switch, but it's not digital sales of Xbox and Switch.
Okay, okay.
But still, that's fucking crazy. Number 9, Horizon 2 Forbidden West. Number 8, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Look at them. Look at them go.
There you go.
Look
It's in
at
the top
look at a
10.
little guy. Look at a little buddy here. Number 7, FIFA 23. Number 6, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Number
Yeah.
5, Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Number 4, God of War Ragnarok. Number 3, Madden NFL 22. And no shock, number 2, Elden Ring. Number 1, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So I don't think there's anything super shocking about when you look at this
No.
list. I mean, I don't know. Like Kirby. I mean, I think like Kirby being in there is fucking incredible. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, anything kind of stand out here? I'm looking at this list here, and it's kind of chalk.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was not expecting two Pokemon games to be within the top 10 of like
Yeah,
sales and stuff. I
number
mean,
6 and number 8. Yeah,
that's impressive to me that Nintendo managed to put out two Pokemon games and both of them sold so well throughout the year. And especially with Scarlet and Violet, since it only had like about a month and a half or so on the market for
yeah,
2022, and it still managed to get number 6 overall for the year. Yeah, I mean, hell, Scarlet and Violet is going to probably be one of the best, if not the best selling games in the franchise after this stuff. But
yeah. I mean, if it's, I wouldn't be shocked by the time we get to the end of the fiscal year. It's number 1 or number 2.
yep.
Um, I don't remember what number 1 is. I think it's Gold and Silver. I want to say. Can't remember.
No, actually, it's
Um,
Sword and Shield that have the best sales.
oh, you're right. It did pass it. You're right. Okay. Yeah, but this will definitely pass that then.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I'm just kind of looking here. We got 6 Nintendo games in the top 20. Looks
Yep.
like
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. Yeah. I mean, pretty incredible year overall. I mean, like I said, MLB The Show just being top 10 despite being a Game Pass game and not including Xbox or Nintendo digital sales is pretty incredible. Same with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Arceus, where that does not include digital sales either. So
Wow.
who knows where it would have been if they included those. Um, Mario Kart 8 being in there, it's kind of fake because they count the bundle sales as well. Uh, so, but still being number 11 after 5 years on the market, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, 6 years on the market. Um, yeah, pretty incredible. Yeah, I mean, I love NPDs. It's always kind of fun to see this kind of like I always talk about like it's kind of get you out of that bubble a little bit of the gaming world, show you what's like kind of going out in the gaming world, and yeah, pretty incredible. All right, but that's gonna kind of do it for NPDs. It'd be kind of interesting because we're gonna have, we have a few bigger games come out in January, so it'd be nice to get some new
Mm-hmm.
blood in there. But Gables, let's move on to
Yeah.
the other news this week. A lot's going on. So Xbox Direct, just a reminder, it's gonna be on Wednesday, January 25th, I believe that's the
Yep.
date. Um, as of right now, I am not scheduled to work that day, so if I'm off, I'll do a live reaction. I'll tweet about it. I'll post about it. I'll be here. Gables, if you're available, feel free to join me. I believe it's at noon Pacific time, 2 p.m. Central time. Um, a couple other things here. Forspoken reviews will go up Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I believe Dead Space reviews are going to be going up on Wednesday. I can't confirm
Okay.
that, but I've been trying to look around and try to get some confirmation. I couldn't get 100% confirmation, but that's kind of what I've been seeing out there. So I think that's kind of what it looks like. Sounds like there might be some sort of PlayStation State of Play, some PlayStation news coming up soon. The Snitch posted in his Discord that PlayStation's going to be doing some third-party announcements here soon. Um, so yeah, so I mean, he's been about 1,000% so far on that. Uh, WWE 2K23 will be revealed during the Royal Rumble, but then they accidentally leaked. That's a rumors have been confirmed, but they also did leak a screenshot of like the store page. I got quickly taken down, but the game is coming out March 17th, and John Cena will be on the cover. Um,
Yeah, this doesn't surprise me.
yeah, I don't know why John
That's
Cena.
John Cena.
Yeah, I mean he's been on the cover. I guess, but I don't know who they put on the cover. Um, there's like nobody like new that's not like that's big now they can put on there. Um, Metro Prime. There might be some news here soon. A prominent leaker of on Reddit has he's big on doing teases for Nintendo news, and he's leaked out dates for directs in the past, and he kind of like teased out the title of Tears of the Kingdom before the title was announced. Um, he put out a post saying, "Are you primed and ready?" Um, so that would kind of probably tell us that there's going to be some Metroid Prime news here soon. Is it going to be the remake that we've heard about, or is it going to be the Metroid Prime 4 that we've been waiting for I mean, what, like 7 years now? Um,
Or could it be the trilogy? I mean, that's the thing. There's possibilities between maybe three options here that we could potentially hear about.
yeah, true. Touche. Um, yeah. I've heard some rumblings that Platinum Games might be making the next Ninja Gaiden game.
Hmm.
I can't
Interesting.
don't know how real that is, but just kind of keep that out there. We talked about Callisto Protocol on the NPD list, being 17th in its debut month. Apparently, they were expecting the publishers of the game was expecting to sell 5 million copies over time. They're saying now um, they expect to sell about 2 million by end of this year. Um, the game had apparently had a budget of about 160 million dollars. Uh,
Ugh.
yeah, so pretty disappointing. But it's also like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I remember like hearing about that shit with like Tomb Raider when it came out. It's like the classic case where it sold like 3 million units in its first year. But Square Enix was expecting to sell like 7 or something like that, and they were pissed about it. And laid a bunch of people off. And it's like, I mean, I don't. I think like Final Fantasy 7 remake sold like 5 million copies in its like first year, and that's fucking Final Fantasy 7 remake. Obviously, it's only on one platform, but not many things sell like 5 million units. I don't think people understand. That's a shit ton of copies. Um,
Yes, it is.
like we see that for like you know, God of War Ragnarok sold 5 million units in its first 3 days, or uh, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold 10 million copies in its first week. Um, it's like, yeah, but these are like top end franchises. This is a brand new franchise
Absolutely.
from
They're not new IPs.
this,
They've been around for years.
yeah, like maybe with the sequel, and it's like also you had like the reviews come out and not be fantastic. So yeah, it's just kind of upsetting to hear that. I hope because I think that game is, like I said, I don't think the game is like game of the year. I don't think that's even a top 10 contender, but I think the game is better. Um, what's there is better than what that game ended up being, and they get a second shot at this thing. Like I think it could blow it. Like they can fucking kill it. Like that could be a game of the year contender if they get another shot at this game. I hope they do. Discord is coming to PS5 in March. There's going to be a big 7.0 update, and that will
Nice.
give us the full thing that we want, where we can talk to friends on our PS5s um, that are playing on PC and shit like that. We can get in chats with them and all that. So finally, that's coming. Apparently, might be some Metal Gear Solid news soon. The writing voice actor said that there'll be some news coming in the coming weeks. Uh, I don't know. I've heard he's weird. I don't know what. There's a lot of people said that guy's kind of weird. So I don't know. And I mean, but typically when like a non-gamer person talks about shit, they're usually right, and they don't realize they're not supposed to be talking about it. So I don't know. Gables like, how you feel about this?
Oh, for the whole like writing voice actor thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? I think it's kind of interesting that he go forward. He actually went through and said something in regards about it. How I personally feel about it is I'm hopeful. I'm wanting some news about Metal Gear
yeah,
Solid or any type of Metal Gear news. I mean, that's just the fan in me where it's like, yeah, I want to hear more about it. I mean, I want to know if there's something substantial that's going to be down the
mm-hmm.
line here. But at the same point, I'm kind of holding that expectation. I'm just holding it in the back of my mind to where, hey, this may potentially not be a thing, or maybe it's just smoke to blow off, in terms of for the people that keep repeatedly asking him potentially on Twitter, is like, hey, what's going on Metal Gear? Oh, hey, what's going on Metal Gear? Or this and that.
Yeah,
But I'm hopeful that this does turn out to be something. Yeah, that turns out to be something, and that it leads to something Metal Gear related.
yeah. I mean, me too. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe he is. Could be one of those things though. He doesn't. He maybe he is right. He's worked on something. He knows something's coming, but like he doesn't know for a fact it is coming. Um, in a matter of weeks. I mean, we heard about with Norman Reedus with Death Stranding 2. We talked about the game for like over a year before the game finally got, like, maybe not over a year, but at least close to a year. Talking about the game coming out soon and all that, and or talking about the game, being like he's working on it and shit like that. It's like, oh yeah, we should hear about it soon, and we finally heard about it, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. And it's like also it's Konami. It's like I don't trust Konami as far as I can throw the corporate building, which isn't far, I'd assume. So excuse me for burping into the mic. Um, had raviolis for dinner, not like canned raviolis, but actual like I fried raviolis, and they were fucking awesome. Um, but yeah, anyways, yeah, but it's Konami. I don't really fully trust them. It's like how serious, and like there's the Blueprint, Blue Point rumored game. There's the one, the Virtuous Missions, I think, or Virtuous something, is apparently working on the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. Um, I don't know. I'm just trying to keep, like, I love Metal Gear more than most things in life, and I'd so badly want another one, but I'm trying to keep all that in check. I don't want to get too crazy in the expectations and the hype for it.
Oh, absolutely. Understandable. I mean, hell, I'd love it if, like, say, randomly we get like a MGS remake or an MGS3 remake,
Yeah,
because both of those games are excellent
yeah, but not,
and it'd be
but like
fucking awesome.
not like a cheap, awful remake, but like an actual
No.
good tier remake. Because like I said, when you were gone, I said like Like it's Konami. Like they're a little
Yeah,
they're pretty cheap on how they do things. So I'm not trying to keep expectations in check because it's Konami. So like if the rumors are true of like PlayStation's working on this some of this shit, like with the Blue Point stuff, like then I'll trust it because I trust that.
it's all hands on deck.
Yeah, and like I trust that PlayStation's, especially when I gotta pay Konami to get the IP and then pay another studio to make whether it's internal or external to make the game. I trust that they're gonna at least they're gonna put their best foot forward on this one. But if it's Konami hiring somebody, they're gonna hire the cheapest person possible to make it. So, um, yeah. Moving on here, though, Returnal is coming to PC in February. That was leaked a long time ago, but not the date, but that was coming to PC. And I guess they also announced that Game Awards, so I guess we knew that. SteamWorld, they announced Thunderful Games announced that there will be a SteamWorld event on January 23rd. That is Monday.
Huh.
There'll be a special broadcast. Gonna kind of go through here. So, it's like yes,
SteamWorld.
yeah. So SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Heist, stuff like that.
Uh,
Um,
yeah. As I was trying to clarify, the makers of those games. Okay.
yeah. So Thunderful is I think it used to be Image and Form. They changed their name to Thunderful Games, I believe. They made like they also like publish games now. They publish like the Gunk, or maybe they made the
Oh
Gunk
yeah.
actually. But like I loved SteamWorld Heist. I thought it was one of my game of the years. I think 2015. I think they came out. I played SteamWorld Dig 1. I didn't love it, but it's like recognized it's not my type of game. SteamWorld Dig 2, like a lot of people, that was our game of the year, even in 2017 when the game came out. So, and they had that SteamWorld Quest, I believe, that came out a couple of years
Hmm.
ago. That didn't really light the world on fire. So I'm hoping we're gonna get a little showcase from them on Monday. I'm hopeful that maybe we get a SteamWorld Heist 2 because I would love to play another one of those games because that game is fucking awesome. And there also was a Firefly reference in there, um, which I'm a sucker for. Um, but yeah, moving on. Last but not least here, Scalebound might be getting revived. Gables, this game just will not die. It's like Matt Hardy
No.
in like the 2000s when he came back to WWE. He's like, I will not die. Scalebound is the Matt Hardy of the 2000s. Um,
Well, let's see if I can slam a tornado and ride up the
yeah,
sea.
yeah. Uh, This game was originally supposed to be like a Wii game, and then it got turned into an Xbox game, and then there's rumors that it was gonna be a Switch game, and then now apparently it's back with Xbox talking about bringing the game back with Platinum. Fuck off. I don't understand why. Like I get Xbox is trying their best to finally put games out and just get on a path. And you need to put out. They're talking about they want to put like a game out a quarter. Not every game be a big game. Not every game's gonna be Starfield. Not every game's gonna be Hellblade even. Uh, but like just having like, but maybe there's gonna be some Pentiments in there. Like great, potentially great games, but smaller games. Um, but I just don't feel like Scalebound is that. That game
I don't
looked like
think
it
so
could be
either.
fun. Uh, that game looked like it was swimming in sevens when we saw that game 7 years ago when they canceled it. So I don't know. I feel like I just feel like Platinum isn't Platinum anymore. So yeah. Gables. Well, let's move on to what we've been playing. Uh,
Yay.
I gotta go to the bathroom, so I'm gonna let you go first, okay? But I can
All
still
right.
hear you. So no weird shit.
Alrighty. When it comes to games that I've been playing this week, there's been a couple of different ones. For one, I beat Mega Man 3 for the first time, so that was definitely an exciting moment for me. That game I played off and on ever since the GameCube port of the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. But what's interesting about it, I played through Mega Man Anniversary Collection like on the Switch. I'm actually more than halfway through that collection now. I've beat Mega Man 1, 2, and now what's fun about 3 is like the different type of bosses and stuff are radically different than like the previous games before them. And what's kind of interesting about it, it seems like with each iteration of Mega Man game I've now playing and stuff, and it's like the bosses are even more obscure or even more like kind of weird or lambastic than like the last one, the last game, I should say. Like for example, you start off in Mega Man 3, you play off against Top Man, right? And so basically, this is a robot that just does it's a dancing robot. So what it's to do is the main thing is spinning around. So literally, you have a breakdancing robot that you can that I went to first thing and just beat him, and I used his move against another robot master called Shadow Man. Now Shadow Man, all he could do is he can throw shurikens. And so getting those powers and doing all this other stuff, along with finally learning the initial boss pattern, not boss pattern, but the bosses, like the order of the bosses in Mega Man 3. Finally getting that down and going through the Wily stages until finally getting through to that two-part that final boss battle in Mega Man 3. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I'm definitely glad that I do have save states and going through different things in those retro games. Okay, here's the thing. I'm a fan of, hey, if I want to play through this game and want to beat it or stuff like that, I will use save
You're a
states.
fan of Juicy.
But oh yeah,
Just use
exactly.
save states. Yeah, Juicy.
But if I want to play through it like the normal way and stuff that you would have back then and stuff like I did with Ninja Gaiden like a few years ago, yeah, I'll do that too. But for the first playthrough, that's perfectly fine. I started playing Mega Man 4. Mega Man 4. This is a whole another can of worms here. So this is probably some of the weirdest bosses I think I've seen yet instead of any type of Mega Man game that I've played so far. So to give you a good perspective of things, the first robot master I had a chance to engage with was Toad Man. So with Toad Man, it's kind of funny because his stage is kind of like a remastered sort of thing of like Bubble Man stage. Not exactly like remastered, but there is wind and rain prevalent inside the stage. So you have to navigate throughout certain hazards and stuff, especially try to avoid being blown off the stage with while the rain's all going and shit and stuff. But when you finally get to the boss itself, I was doing I wasn't doing too well the first initial attempts, and that's because there is a there is a specific pattern you can do against Toad Man to where once you figure out the rhythm of what he'll initially go through, what his attack pattern is, he's super easy. So, for example, it's like you just basically got to go in close combat with him, right? You got to go face to face with him, just blast him and stuff. He'll jump over you, and you slide under him. You turn around, blast. He'll jump over you again, and you slide, and blah blah blah. It's basically blast, jump, and then slide underneath him. Blast, jump, and slide underneath him until you kill him. And that was something that took me like at least good 5, maybe 10 minutes or something just to figure out. Oh, that's what the fuck I was supposed to do. So the initial order so far that I've gone, I've beaten 3 Robot Masters in Mega Man 4. I mean, Mega Man 4 so far isn't bad. I mean, I love the gameplay. I kind of like the whole charge blaster gimmick that they have alongside the slide and all this other stuff. Let's see. I've gone through Toadman.
What about
Then
Duff
I
Man?
know for oh, not Duffman, huh? It was Duffman inside there. I mean, hell, he probably would be a final boss.
Duff Man can't
But
breathe.
oh no, Duffman needs an aisle. Oh, fun fact, listeners. When young Colonel Gables was a kid, he loved watching The Simpsons so much that he would actually imitate a lot of the different characters, including Duffman.
When he was just a lowly pipsqueak in base camp, scraping up gum off the floor with his toothbrush. Look at you now. Look at you, Colonel.
Oh my god. But yeah, Mega Man 4 so far, the stages I've played through have been fine. The last one I actually went across and beat was Pharaoh Man stage. Now, the thing about Pharaoh Man stage, you have these different mummies that'll pop out of like the walls and stuff. Like it literally has like a little coffin or something that they get out their sarcophagus stuff, right? And they go and they start chasing after you and this and that and stuff. But I'm really liking the different varieties of the stages so far from Mega Man 4. But the last game I have actually played this week is another type of retro game I've played like twice before last year, and I'm here with a different run. I'm playing through Pokemon Yellow currently right now on my 3DS, And I'm
You're a
doing a
disgusting human
Pikachu
being.
run. Well, here's the thing, man. It's like last year. Well, here you have Sephiroth and stuff in your amiibo
It's like one of the
form.
box.
I know, but I got to thinking about it last year, where it's like I kind of like doing these separate little Pokemon Red and Blue runs and stuff like that. I did one with Charmander through Charizard and stuff. I did one through Squirrel through Blastoise. Okay, now it's time for me to go for a non-evolved run here. And so I chose Pokemon Yellow, and the Pokemon of choice is going with Pikachu. Now let me tell you something. Pikachu through the early game, yeah, that's kind of difficult. And I'll tell you why. Brock. Brock has two Pokemon. Both of his Pokemon's levels are 2 levels lower than what he was with Red and Blue, but it still wasn't easy to try to take out his Geodude and his Onix with Quick Attack. Because normal type moves are resistant to normal. Yeah, rock type moves are. No, rock types are resistant to normal type moves. There we go. So I end up having to grind until like around level 19 with Pikachu in order to actually beat Brock for the first time with just Pikachu. But so far, I've cleared 4 gyms. Pikachu is already close to around almost level 50. And what's the funniest part about it? There was this one point where I was in the rock tunnel. I was facing off against a trainer, right? And I look at, okay, I got enough like body slam, this and that, in order to go forth and beat this guy, right? And so he has 4 Pokemon. And so one of them I use Thunderbolt. Okay, I can clear out this first Pokemon, Thunderbolt. The second one's a Diglett. And I'm like, oh shit. I got one body slam left. I'm gonna use that. And so I do that. The third Pokemon comes out, and it's fucking Sandshrew. I'm like, fuck. Because I have 2 electric type moves. My move set I'm running with Pikachu right now is Thunderbolt, Double Team, Thunder, and Body Slam. I'm all out of Body Slam, all 15 moves used. And so what did I have to do? I had to use every single one of the power points through every other move, because in order to, when I do that, there is literally a move I can use to attack Sandshrew, and that's Struggle. Struggle, dude. And the biggest pain in the ass about it, Sandshrew kept using sand attack. It kept lowering down my accuracy. And so when eventually I did whittle down my power points for each move down to 0, and I did have access to struggle, it took me like about 3 attempts for me to hit the damn Sandshrew to KO it. But I ended up beating the last Pokemon from that guy's team and stuff with struggle. And because there was like about a 20 level difference between Pikachu and the Pokemon I was faced off against, and I still had to go through do the struggle strategy. Oh man, yeah, that was definitely fun times. But what's been so fun about it has been my approach with different battles. It's gotten me to think of different strategies through each trainer, because I want to go through each trainer in this playthrough and see, like, I know for a fact I have to go through each trainer in this playthrough with Pikachu, because I want him at the highest level possible in order to face the Elite Four and Champion. I know for a fact if I enter into the Elite Four now, let's say if it was like a normal run that I was doing last year, if he was already like in the mid 50s or something like that, cleared off every single gym, and now he's going to Elite Four and Champion, I still would have to spend a good amount of time grinding him in order to even be remotely competitive inside of like the mid 50s, level 60s of like the Elite Four and Champion and stuff. But because it's like halfway through the game and I'm like already getting close to like level 50 in that regard, so I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm gonna probably have a tough run in regards to the Elite Four and Champion if this is the amount of difficulty that I'm encountering with just Pikachu. Because now I'm kind of interested in seeing how I'm gonna fare against Giovanni inside of the Ceylon City corner and stuff when I try to clear out Team Rocket and stuff, because he has Rhydon and he has like these different rock type Pokemon that would not pose much of a threat for me in any other type of game I play through, but it does with Pikachu. Oh, but yeah, it's those type of replayability type of stuff, and plus the whole me watching a whole bunch of videos by JRose11 on YouTube and stuff, where it's like, you know what? This is what I love about the original Pokemon games. Granted, I've already caught them all. Red, blue, and yellow, that generation, I've caught them all. I've already done substantial like playthroughs, beating games with like with one Pokemon or like with maybe a couple of my favorites or this or that. But now I'm getting to the thing where I'm doing challenge runs to where I want to be able to put some handicaps on myself to see if I can actually beat the game itself. So I'm not healing in the middle of battle. I'm not using any type of revives or any type of like X attacks or anything else like that. I'm using proteins and like other types of like Pokemon like medicines and stuff like that, or like vitamins and stuff to pump up the certain stats that I want Pikachu to have this to have like the strongest possible in that regards. Like I'm definitely going to put more into defense. That's defense and special because both of those need to go up substantially. But if oh god, in that for the gameplay that I've done this week, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been playing a bunch of Mega Man. I've also been playing Pokemon Yellow, of all things, you know. So this is going to change come next week because Fire Emblem Engage, I'm getting my copy tomorrow. Like I said previously, I'm going to be playing a bit of that. I hopefully will have some impressions come next episode. So hopefully look forward to that. But other than that, though, Tyler, what's the game you've been playing?
Um, so like I said, I was talking about like kind of struggling in the games this week, and I think part of it too is like there's definitely like like Forspoken hopefully is good, and then also Dead Space
Yeah.
coming out next week. On top of that, so um, I have those on the horizon to play, and so I'm like it's one of those things where it's like I don't really want to jump into anything because like kind of waste of time. Uh, but like I was playing I picked up Modern Warfare 2 last week, and I just started playing it over the last weekend and playing it throughout the week. Um, and I played a couple hours of it. The campaign, I don't care about the multiplayer. I just play. I've always talk about. I always like the campaigns of them. Like I like the just over the top, big explosions, all that shit. I'm a sucker for
Yeah.
that stuff. Um, and I haven't played one since like Modern Warfare 1 on 2019, the reboot one in 2019, and I had a good time with that one. And before that, like I mean, I beat all the Call of Duty ones, even the ones I really didn't care for that much. So I beat all of them up to that point, except for like really Vanguard and WW2. Like I played and like I talk about like Black Ops Cold War, just didn't really, even though it was different, it didn't vibe with me. And this one, I don't know, it's not really. I don't think it's not bad at all. Like the gameplay is top notch. Like no matter what you say about Call of Duty and their campaigns and multiplayer, like the gameplay is really fucking good. The game is probably I don't think anybody can beat them as far as graphics go. Like they're top notch when it comes to like graphics, fidelity and all that. Um, but I think that for me personally, I feel like that the Call of Duty stuff is kind of maybe passing by a little bit where um, it just doesn't hit for me the same way it used to. Like the big over the top set pieces. Like there's like one of the missions like what really was for me was like the Gilly mission, which was like one of the standouts of like uh, the original Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4. Like that was one of the greatest missions of all time in video games at that point. Um, and like Chernobyl and all that. And I got to that mission, I did that mission, and it was just like, all right, yeah, no, it's definitely, I've done this before, and it's cool, but it's like, it's definitely, it feels like a, kind of like, we're doing the shit that everybody loved 15 years ago, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely an audience for it. I just don't think I'm the audience for that anymore. So I was like, I'm not like, like the gameplay is fine. It's really good. It's top notch. Game like it looks beautiful. Um, I it just didn't connect with me like they would in the past. So yeah, I just kind of fell off of that one. So it's really I've been playing like I did like the Life is Strange True Colors. They did I can't remember what it's called,
Mm-hmm.
Wavelength. I beat that. It's like the DLC. They added it like like almost a year ago at this point. And it's kind of like the prequel for like one of the characters in the game, Steph, who's also from the original Life is Strange games. She like moves from Arcadia Bay to I forgot the name of the town, Haven Springs, Colorado, and like it's about her journey of leaving the town and then leaving Arcadia Bay to go to Haven Springs, and then like just it kind of like it's only a couple hours long, but like it kind of like it's she runs like she runs the record store, but also like the radio station there. She's the DJ, and just kind of like her dealing with the events that end Life is Strange one, and like kind of dealing with that. Like she basically what happened in Life is Strange one, and then like she basically almost immediately leaves town and hasn't really dealt with that yet. And like a couple characters come back from the first game, which is cool to kind of hear them and see them again um, from the first game. And yeah, like I liked it a lot. It's like it's not there's not a lot to it. All takes place in the record store, um, and it's kind of cool. Like like it's kind of her like finally like dealing and processing what happens with Life is Strange, like the events of Life is Strange one, in her time, and then also uh, becoming a part of the town where she felt like alone because she didn't know anybody there. She just came there for a job, and finally like feeling a part of the people of Haven Springs. So really cool, really well done. It definitely like very much reminds me of like when they did Life Strange Before the Storm. They did a DLC thing for that one called Farewell, which was a farewell to Max
Right.
and Chloe, who were the original characters from Life Strange One, and it was like a separate thing that was like all took place in Chloe's bedroom, or a good chunk of the game took place at initially, and it was just kind of like a goodbye to those characters. And it's kind of a goodbye to Steph, and even though she wasn't the main character of the main game, um, she was definitely like 1A, at worst in that game. And yeah, I really liked that. Really enjoyed that. It definitely kind of got me jonesing for another life. Hopefully, we get another Life is Strange game. At least some news next year or so. I know. I mean, I know it's only been a couple. It's been less than 2 years since that, but I mean, it was my game of the year 2021. Life is Strange True Colors. So just kind of on the back burner, and I was like, I should. It's just been sitting on like my HUD forever. Whenever I pop up my PS5, it's just been sitting there. It's like, finally knocked it out. Finally knocked it out. Enjoyed the hell out of it. Um, so yeah, but like that's really playing. Like I said, I didn't want to like jump on anything that's gonna like require a lot of time. And like because like I said, like a couple games, at least Dead Space, I have faith will be really good, and I'm gonna buy that. But Forspoken, I still Gills for the podcast. I will remain cautiously optimistic about that game
Yeah.
until the reviews come out Monday morning. So, but yeah, but I think that's gonna.
There's
Oh,
actually
go ahead.
there's something I want to actually something I do want to say in that regards. It's going to be kind of quick for both of us because we're going to play a guessing game, and this is going
Oh
to
shit.
involve two games right here. So we're going to guess the review scores of these two games, you and I, and
Okay.
see which one of us is going to be closest. This is just for bragging rights. It's not for anything like major or anything.
Mm.
So, Forspoken. What do you think the overall review score is going to be for this game?
All right. Are we doing Prices Right rules, where it's closest without going over, or are we just doing who's closest?
We're probably going to be going to say who's closest in this
Okay.
regards.
70. 74. 74.
Okay,
I'll
you're
stick with
more
it.
optimistic than I am in that
Yeah,
regards. I'm thinking it's going to
it's
be a 65.
yeah. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I mean, I'm just hoping for 74. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah,
I,
I understand, dude.
it's definitely optimism. It's not like any like, yeah. I'm not. It's definitely some bias there. Of like, I really want that game to be good because I think that game looks like it could be good, but I don't feel great about it. But yeah. So yeah, I
Okay.
okay. So all right, close. So
Okay,
we're
see.
all right. Go ahead.
All right, all right. So basically, you think 74, I think 65. So the next and the last game here is going to be Dead Space Remastered.
I'm gonna write these down. We can talk about it next week.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. All right, so now you want to know about Dead Space Remastered?
Yeah.
remake, whatever. All right, so I'm gonna write. Sorry, I'm writing these down.
Yeah,
Gables 65, Tyler 74, Dead Space. God, 86.
86.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna say 77.
77. You're a madman. All right, man, you just have no optimism for these games.
I'm not saying that I don't have optimism. I still believe that this remake is going to be fairly good, but I don't think it's going to be like in the say the mid to like late 80s like some people would think.
I
But
mean, Dead
that's
Space
just
One is
me.
like an 84, I believe, the original one. So
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I
So
don't know.
you're
Resident
so
Evil
you're thinking
2
more along
remake
the
is a
that.
90 on Metacritic. Are we doing Metacritic or Open Critic?
Honestly, I think we're just going to be doing Open Critic or
Yeah, it
something
makes
like that
sense
since
because of
that's what we go through with
Fantasy
this
Critic.
anyway.
All right, yeah, it's always a little lower. So yeah, okay, okay, that's fine. But like on Metacritic, Dead Space OG is like an 84. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
okay. All right, well, we'll come back. We'll talk about those next week. I feel like I'm gonna be I feel Dead Space. I'm gonna be. I feel like I'm gonna be better off on Forspoken. I don't know, but yeah. All right, well, guys, you'll know about this before we come back and record. So if you want to come back and tell Gables how he's wrong and talk to me about how Forspoken's a 92 on Open Critic, and I
I think
shouldn't
that'd
have.
be amazing if that turns out to be the
I would be so
case.
fucking. But also I'll be pissed off because Gables, I bid on it in our Fantasy Critic League, and then I
Yeah.
had cold feet and I deleted the bid. So and I probably could have had it for $1. Uh, so
More
yeah,
likely you would have.
yeah. I was like, man, I should have just drafted it. And then I'm like, I'll just download. I'm like, I'll just bid on it. Gables isn't gonna bid on it. And I'm like, no.
Which fun fact, you and I only spend like $8 a piece.
Yeah, yeah. I like how we both placed bids on shit, that hoping one of us would take the bait on it, and nobody took the bait on it.
We pulled out a stalemate this week, which is
Yeah,
hilarious.
Gables bid $1 on the Metal Gear Solid remake. I bet $1 on a Mario 3D game this year. And I'm like, Gable, and we both neither one of us wanted that game, but we thought for sure we'd sucker one of us in the bidding on it. We both had the same idea, and now we're not. I guess we can drop them, but I don't know. I'm gonna wait it out because maybe they announce a Mario 3D World game or a 3D game. So I hope they do, just to piss you off, Gables. Um, but yeah. Anyways, guys, um, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like all this, please go like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends. Look down the descriptions down below. It has all of our links to all of our socials and Apple, Spotify, YouTube. If you want to follow along with our fans critic thing, you can go on there. There's a link in there to take you directly to it. You can see it and you can follow our league as well. But yeah, we'll talk about it sparingly. But yeah, if you think once again, thank you guys so much for listening. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, have some fun time playing some games, watch some movies, whatever. But most importantly of all, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gibbles,
Yeah?
rest in peace, Jay Briscoe.
Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe.
Bye, guys.
Reach for the
See ya.
sky, boy.